Well, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majestic back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your weather update here on your February the 10th, 2026. Well, definitely a very mild day. I wish we would have seen a little more sunshine. Those high clouds really thick out there today. Get a little filtered sunshine, but looks like we're in store for some wet weather coming at us here for your Wednesday, so a little bit of a damp day there. We're going to briefly cool off on Thursday, then we're going to track our next major storm system, which looks like this weekend is going to be a bit damp, a bit breezy, and we're going to get into all the details here on this update. Now, if you're new here to the YouTube channel and you live anywhere across North Georgia, let me introduce myself. I'm meteorologist Greg Majestic, and I'm on a mission to build a 24-hour channel here across North Georgia so you can really help us to get to that goal. Real simple. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button, and please, by all means, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future weather updates. All right, let's go ahead and get a look into this as we take a live look there in Dahlonega. Get a little some of that filtered sunshine, those high clouds across the area. Let's see a little blue here and there, but generally partly sunny to mostly cloudy type afternoon across the area there in Dahlonega. Looking down there toward Lake Lanier, also getting some of that filtered sunshine as well for this afternoon. The winds are pretty calm out there on the lake, and we're in store for at least a dry rest of our day here on your Tuesday. Local radar remains quiet here for the moment. I do expect to be tracking some rain for tomorrow morning, so it could be a little bit of a wet commute for some folks heading on into work on your Wednesday. Regional satellite showing those dirty skies moving in. We've got a lot of clouds moving in from the west back all the way toward Texas. So definitely going to stick with us here for tonight. That means the overnight lows tonight are going to be relatively mild as well, especially with the rains that are expected to move in, say, after midnight as we head toward the dawn hour. Now, as we go and take a look at our regional radar, you can see how warm it is out there. We got temperatures already around 70 degrees there in Winder right now, 69 up near Dalton. A little bit cooler down there toward LaGrange at 62, but temperatures well above where they're supposed to be. You know, we're still supposed to see highs in the 50s this time of year, so we're definitely seeing that above normal temperatures. Take those readings back over toward Arkansas, well into the 70s out here across Arkansas and in toward Texas. So a mild day to say the least here for February. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our latest forecast model. We're going to be looking at the NAM model. This is a 12Z run that just moved on in here. Watch that little timestamp there in that upper right-hand corner to kind of get your bearings on the time here. As we said, we're looking pretty quiet here for tonight. We're going toward 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're still looking okay, but you got this rain up here to the north. This is going to work its way down into the area here as we go in forward tonight. So, again, you're probably going to need the umbrella for the morning. Plan on a wet commute because it's going to be coming in pretty wet. So by 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, a lot of North Georgia looking a little damp, a little wet out there. Now, this will not be an all-day rain event, folks. In fact, I think by the time we get past the lunch hour, things will be drying out. By the time you get on home, I think the rains will be coming to an end. I think the NAM here is still a touch slow, but I think we will clear on out of here. And then as we go into your Thursday, a pretty nice day, but it will be a little bit cooler. You notice these blue lines up here, that kind of indications of where the cold air is kind of setting up in here. So we are going to see these drop our temperatures down to closer to seasonal levels here going into your Thursday briefly before we see the moisture come back at us heading in for this upcoming weekend. So got a little disturbance kind of sliding down there. You see a little bit of snow there across the Carolinas, just a little bit. I don't think that'll work its way into Georgia, but it is an indication of just the cold air just off toward our north. So a little more seasonal on the temperature front there on Thursday, and then we'll see things get wetter as we move in toward the weekend. Now, let's go ahead and talk about those rainfall amounts with this initial rainfall coming on in here. So generally it looks like, I'd say quarter to a half inch. There looks like the possibility of some heavier rains in this area here across north central Georgia. Maybe you get isolated 3/4 of an inch to an inch, but I think on average, probably between a quarter and a half inch on this initial rain event. The second one coming in for this upcoming weekend, that one looks a lot more substantial and definitely a bit breezy with that one as well. So as we go take a look at our forecast maps here, again, watch the little timestamp there up on top as we go through the next 7 days here. As we're going to stay dry into Wednesday. Wednesday's not a problem once we get into the afternoon. We got wet start, and then it'll be drier by the afternoon because look what happens by the time we get to 7 o'clock. Yeah, the high pressure is building on in. Again, not expecting an all-day rain event there. Now, as we go into Thursday, Thursday's looking good. We'll see high pressure and control here on Thursday. We'll have temperatures here looking fairly seasonable on your Thursday. But then as we go into Friday, that's when we'll start turning our attention to that next storm system out here to the west. This thing is going to really be moving on in here. And as this high kind of retreats back up here to the northeast and this low starts to develop, as a pretty healthy pressure gradient is going to start to form between the two of them. And as it moves in here going into Sunday, yeah, you'll notice these isobars. These are lines of equal pressure between that high and the low. So we could be flirting with some wind advisory criteria potentially going into Sunday here with the wet weather as well. So not only we got to deal with the heavier rains, we got to deal with the windy conditions as well. By the time we get into Monday, the low pulls off the coast, we dry out, and the temperatures are going to restart to rebound next week. In fact, I do expect above normal temperatures back in here as we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your forecast here. Again, Gainesville looking at 66, 57. Rain favoring the morning hours. Maybe some late day sunshine potential in there for parts of North Georgia. Overnight lows tonight, not overly cool for obvious reason. We got clouds, we got rain moving in, so everybody generally in the 50s here for morning lows. And then your daytime highs, again, kind of cooling off a little bit toward the northwestern sections, maybe still holding on to that milder where you see the yellow there, upper 60s around 70 over toward the Elberton area. But generally going to see things in a cooling trend because we are expecting to be briefly cooler going into your Thursday. Regionally looking like this. How about 55 up in Nashville and 56 over in Memphis, 64 in Atlanta, 74 Savannah, 71 in Destin, and 75 down in New Orleans. Here we go with the next 7 days as, again, we're going to back those temperatures off a bit on Thursday, upper 30s. Again, the daytime highs back in the low 60s, upper 50s across the North Georgia area there, so closer to normal. And then we got the clouds really thickening up on Friday, so looking cloudy going into Valentine's Day. If you're going out on Valentine's Day night or evening, you're probably going to need your umbrella. That the rain chances are going to spike up there as the timing on the next rain moves on in there. That's going to linger on to Sunday, which will be quite breezy on Sunday as well. But for President's Day, hey, not bad. 64, 45, and 65, 48 going into next week as temperatures go back above normal going into next week with some drier weather. So, again, I got 2 rain events we're tracking. It's needed. We were not going to complain about the rain because we do need it. We're still in drought conditions here across the state that have been steadily worsening here through the fall and through the winter as well. And so this is some much needed rainfall that we could definitely use. All right, again, appreciate you guys checking us out here on the YouTube channel. Again, if you have not subscribed yet, please help us out trying to get to 10,000. And we need every single one of y'all to make it happen. So please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future weather updates. All right, that'll do it for now. Y'all take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.